Hello and welcome to another Java tutorial. In this tutorial we will going to be talking about Java arrays. It's very important to first of all understand what an array is. In the past videos you have learned about variables. A variable allows you to store a value in a memory. So what arrays allow you to do is, array allows you to store several values at the same time in the memory. Because variables, whenever they receive the next value, the previous value is gone. One of the main reasons of introducing arrays was that sometimes we need to store several different values of the same type. Not type in terms of data type. For example, if I would like to store 15 scores, I do not want to be declaring variables score 1, score 2, score 3, score 4, score 5 and go all the way up through 15. Rather, I want to create one variable called scores, and I would be wanting to store 15 values in that memory space, and that's exactly where arrays kicks in. So you can be declaring an array of type integer or double or character or any of the non-primitive types like string, date, any user-defined data types. It's just unlimited applications of arrays are out there. However, there are some limitations with the arrays, that whenever you declare an array of a certain type, all you can store is the values of that type alone. You cannot dynamically increase the size of the array. It has to be of the fixed size. The size has to be defined when the arrays get declared. So there are some limitations with the arrays. Generally speaking, this is how you will going to declare a variable of type integer called scores. However, when it comes to an array, we use square brackets that define or that tells the language compiler that what you are now about to declare is an array. Now, among the Java programmers, there are two different ways of declaring an array. Sometimes they use a square bracket right in front of the array name, or sometimes they use the square brackets right in front of the data type. Either of the two approaches are valid, and the compiler will not going to yell back at you. One difference between declaring a variable and an array is that arrays are declared in this fashion, where the left-hand side pretty much tells that I would like to declare an array, that's what the square brackets are, called scores of type integer. What right-hand side of the equal sign says that now I would like to allocate, so the word new means now I would like to allocate memory of type in, and now you got to tell however many memory spaces you want. So now with this statement you have actually allocated 5 memory spaces of type int. If I use double, of course I'm going to complain until I fix it, and now I have actually claimed 5 memory spaces of type double. So that's how you can be declaring arrays. Now, to store values in an array, since arrays allow you to store values, rather multiple values at the same time, let me first complete this and then I'm going to explain about what exactly I'm doing here, because you may be wondering, why did I start at my count from 0 and why am I stopping at 4? When you declare the statement, you're pretty much saying that I want to allocate 5 blocks of memory. So it's 5 continuous blocks of memory. Scores, however, at any given point, always points at the first memory block out of the 5 blocks. So that is why the first memory block is called 0, because this is the current block. 1 means 1 away from current, 2 means 2 away from current, 3 means 3 away from current, 4 means 4 away from current. So if you notice, our total 5 but 0 through 4. So you can be giving them different values. So this is how you can be displaying arrays. Now, if you have multiple variables, you probably will going to be writing your println statement like this. Well, value of variable 1, value of variable 2, and so forth. However, for arrays, you can pretty much say scores 0. However, what I'm about to do is you may still say, oh, that's too tedious. Should I be writing as many println statements as there are the elements in an array? Not really. You can actually take help from a loop because all the array elements are in continuous memory blocks. So you can actually be running a loop that starts from 0 and that goes up to the array length, and then you can increment it by 1. And that way, all you got to do is every time you're in the loop, you just got to change the loop counter. So first time the loop runs, the counter is 0, so it goes to the 0th score element. Then counter becomes 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So when I run this program, I should get 5 lines of output, and each line should be displaying me one of the values from one of the elements of the arrays. Now here I can pretty much, for the purpose of clarity, I can say, well, right now I'm looking at element zero. So here is element 0, element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4, like that. Sometimes, because users do not understand that the array count starts from 0 versus 1, so that is why we temporarily add 1 just for the display purpose. Says scores element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4, and element 5. So that's how you can be actually playing around with your array and displaying the values. The other thing, the last thing for this tutorial that I want to talk about here is it's sometimes hard to remember the total array count. So there are 2 ways to figure it out. One of the ways is to say, okay, go as far as scores.length, but the scores.length will actually return 5. And your last array element is 4. That's why I'm using less than operator versus less than equals to operator. So now when I run this program, it will still gonna work the same way, except for the fact that instead of me having to remember however many elements are there, I could actually be calling scores.length. Well, thank you for watching this tutorial. We're going to be exploring arrays a little bit more in our next tutorial. Have a good one.